clouds parted over the Isles of Boreas. It was time to choose. The rebellion was in trouble. Ravens were scouting for the secret rebel base. They needed a game changer. Pieces of the Sky Ripper had surfaced. Renato knew that using it could go catastrophically wrong, but he was sure he could figure out how to use it safely. Also, a temple had risen out of empty desert. The Emperor had brought the Sky Ripper pieces up out of ancient burial by his obscene rituals. Could this be where the Iblis stone was hidden? Someone better get it before he does, thought Renato. And also, his old friend Lapino needed rescuing. Of course, Renato had a pretty strong suspicion that Lapino had betrayed the rebellion. But could Renato really leave an old friend to the Ravens? The island was windswept desert. No one went there except ostriches and ostrich hunters. The Iblis stone. It sounded ominous. It sounded powerful. If the Emperor was searching for it, it must be dangerous. And so, Renato went ostrich hunting. Every child could sing verses about the Sky Ripper, but ancient codices held hints of other things. A stone that ate souls, a ruby that drank blood, a jewel only a righteous man could give away. Were all these things the Iblis stone? Long hidden in a buried temple? Another ancient item that was only resurfacing now? Drawn up from the deeps by the Emperor's horrific rituals? That ought to be enough for a proper sword, he thought.
Je peux débloquer toutes les épées avant de les améliorer.
Renato distrusted doors that opened automatically, especially after being buried for millennia. Was this some sort of trap?
I'm sorry. Was that your shield?
The Ravens were already here, cawing in frustration. They were still searching for a way in. Good.
Pardon.
Then he hadn't come too late.
Infligez des dégâts aux ennemis que vous avez accrochés. Ça fait quoi? Peut sprinter à travers les ennemis munis d'un bouclier. Ok. Ça c'est plus de vie. Augmente l'énergie de l'épée. Et ça augmentera encore plus votre endurance max. Ok. Les distances de coup de pied, c'est augmenté. Ça gèle le temps pour tous les personnages sauf Leonardo quand une attaque est contrée au dernier moment, dure quelques secondes. Ok. On va commencer à augmenter sa vie. Voilà. Il n'y avait rien d'autre ici. Non.
If they didn't want their things broken, they really ought to make them stronger.
Trouvez la pierre. Vous avez été choisi pour cette mission capitale car vous êtes capable de suivre les ordres à la lettre sans poser de questions. Ne prêtez pas attention aux défaitistes. Votre score final au test d'intelligence est la preuve que vous êtes plus doué que n'importe qui pour suivre les ordres. Apprenez avec fierté que moi, votre empereur, je vous ai choisi personnellement pour cette mission. Suivez les instructions à la lettre. Voyez toujours avec un compagnon. Ne regardez pas ce qui est gravé sur les murs. Ne perdez pas la boîte hermétique. Une fois que vous avez trouvé la pierre, placez-la immédiatement dans la boîte, puis fermez celle-ci. Si vous entendez une voix dans votre tête, ignorez-la. N'oubliez pas que ce temple est hanté. Évidemment, c'est un vieux temple dédié à un dieu maléfique. On y a pratiqué des sacrifices et le sang a coulé. Bien sûr qu'il est hanté. Ignorez la voix dans votre tête. Souvenez-vous, les fantômes ne peuvent pas vous blesser, mais ils essaieront de vous embrouiller l'esprit. Si vous entendez la voix, prenez la pilule de somnolence. Si vous croisez un autre soldat en possession de la pierre et qui ne l'a pas mise dans la boîte hermétique, aspergez-le immédiatement avec le gaz de somnolence. Trouvez la pierre, mettez-la dans la boîte, fermez la boîte. Et le plus important de tout, trouvez la pierre. Ok, bon.
Wait, what? How was he outside? Hadn't he taken an elevator into the depths of the earth?
Cache.
This was definitely better than pulling yourself up in a bucket.
Me péter dans la bouche.
This stone was incredibly valuable. Renato could sense it. Also,
Voilà.
it still had its price tag.
Allez, il faut deux. Ok. Ça s'améliore automatiquement. Mince, c'est pas ça que je voulais. Non. Je voulais voir les pouvoirs de l'épée. Augmente la vitesse de déplacement et l'attaque. Coûte de l'énergie. Permet de récupérer de la santé. Pendant une attaque, met le feu à l'ennemi. Gèle l'ennemi. Ok.
How could a temple to Iblis still even exist? The Transcendent Emperor had destroyed all the shrines of the lost gods after exiling them. Had it been buried in that long-ago battle? Or had Iblis foreseen his fate and hidden it from his enemy?
Ok, pas encore.
got to.
Ok, j'ai fait n'importe quoi. Ah, c'est ça. Ok.
It was all coming back to him. He wondered what he'd remember next. The Ravens at least could not get past this point. Obviously, the temple builders knew how to deal with tomb raiders. Renato hated cannon traps. Also, who reloaded these things anyway? He never figured that part out. It was a stone of the purest blackness. It reflected no light, like a void made solid. Nervous, he picked it up. Who said that? It was the stone. Eager, thirsty. That seemed tempting and terribly wrong. Zenobia was the Emperor's greatest general and a potent witch. But they had been close once, and Renato wasn't sure he really wanted to be Emperor. Why not capture the core of Skyripper instead? It was the eye of a lost god torn out by the Transcendent Emperor to power his greatest weapon. It's the core, said the stone anxiously.
Bon, on va aller à fond dans le sens de la pierre.
Why was he listening to a talking rock? Ah, but the rock had a point. If the stone could truly turn him into a powerful warrior, he could defeat the Emperor with the very weapon the wicked old toad had sought for himself. To be a hero, you had to sacrifice old friends sometimes, especially when they've become enemies. As he placed the impossibly black crystal in his gauntlet, Renato had a sudden vision. Charred fields covered in dead ravens below a black sun. Was it the time of the lost gods before the Transcendent Emperor? Was it the future? Feed these souls, it whispered. Take the power. He could feel the stone's hunger for souls, its thirst for blood. All right, I get it. This was going to be interesting. Renato went to the china shop. For some reason, the owner was always nervous. The city was burning, and there was no one to put out the fires. If somehow Zenobia survived her father and inherited his crown, what sort of empire would she be heir to? But he couldn't think about that, could he? The ravens on Zenobia's island were no match for Renato. They screamed as the stones sucked out their souls. And with each death, he felt stronger. Take the power, the stone told him. Firewalls only let you through if they think you're hot enough. He wished there were more pylons he could use the hook on. They really needed to construct additional pylons. He couldn't do worse with Zenobia than he'd done with the core, could he? Ha! Bet you never saw that coming. This jewel was more than sparkling. It had arcane power and an engraving. To Cindy? Zenobia was waiting for Renato. She was alone, confident as always. Fire danced at the tips of her claws.
Are you here to surrender? She seemed as cocksure as he felt. But she didn't know he had the stone. And I've missed you too, love. He chuckled.
She spotted the stone and bolted without another word. Where was a workbench when you needed one? Oh, never mind.
Ma chère Zenobia, au moment où tu lis cette lettre, tu es enfermée dans ta chambre, sur le point de passer ta dernière nuit avant ce que tu sais. Je ne vais pas te demander pardon. Je sais que tu es trop fière pour me pardonner. Je sais aussi que tu liras Céline jusqu'à la fin. Après tout, tu es un chat, malgré tous mes efforts pour t'éduquer comme un crapaud digne de ce nom. Je te jure, tu dois me croire. Je n'avais absolument pas prévu tout cela le jour où je t'ai adopté. Tu as toujours été mon petit chaton spécial. Voilà pourquoi j'écris cette lettre maintenant, des semaines à l'avance. Je sais que je n'aurai pas le courage et le cœur de le faire la nuit du sacrifice. Si je te considère comme ma fille à ce moment-là, je risquerais de changer d'avis. Tu dois te dire que je suis égoïste, et tu as raison. Je suis un pauvre petit crapaud égoïste qui a peur de mourir. Mais ce que je fais servira un jour l'intérêt commun. Je veux posséder le pouvoir ultime qui me permettra de faire en sorte que mes sujets soient satisfaits, la paix pour l'éternité. Même si tu me hais aujourd'hui, tu peux respecter cet objectif, tu le dois. C'est le seul moyen pour moi de me pardonner ce que je t'inflige. Tu me manqueras éternellement. Demain, essaie de ne pas faire de scandale. Tous les yeux seront rivés sur nous, avec tout mon amour, malgré tout, Père.
The rock felt hot in his hand. He could feel its secret power. Finally, Renato caught up to her. He had never seen her scared before. At school, she'd been the determined, brave one. Now her eyes were wide, frightened. He didn't like seeing her this way. "Kill her," whispered the stone. "You cannot win your rebellion without it." "Please." "No," said Zenobia. "Not that way." Oh, they had been so close once. Could he really feed her soul to his demonic gem? But if he spared her, he would not get the full power of the stone. Oh, how could he be the hero he wanted to be?
Écoutons-le, Pierre.
With a flick of his wrist, he slashed Zenobia's throat. Her eyes widened even more. And then the light went out of them. Renato felt amazing. Power was rushing into him like water from a burst dam. Oh, such brilliance, exulted the Iblis stone. Tasty. Renato returns to the Farfarer and set a course for the Nexus. The Empire had a communication outpost there. He could call the Emperor directly. It was time to seize the outpost and let the Emperor know what he had done. The Nexus was beautiful. He'd never realized how beautiful. Everything glowed. The wind was so sweet, the sun so soft, the stones so warm, the black raven feathers. Black feathers. Suddenly, his eyes are filled with them. He's falling through smoke, under a dead sun. That's causing home. Is this a vision? Whose? Is this the time of the lost gods? Or the future? No matter. What mattered now was killing his way to the Imperial outpost and challenging the Emperor from there. He'd once met a pirate captain who used hooks to get around his ship. What was his name again?
Haven't you heard? Golf is over.
Up ahead was Lapino. What was he doing here? Bernardo! Hey, buddy! Hey there, old buddy! Please don't kill me! Why would I kill you? Asked Bernardo, although he had been thinking about it. Well, you've become... no, I mean, no disrespect at all here. Kind of evil? Maybe you should, I don't know, go to the mountains to have a think? See if maybe you're sure the stone is not all that healthy a thing to keep? I suppose you wanted, Bernardo said, and poked Lapino in the chest for emphasis. Oh, had he just killed Lapino? Oh, damn it.
C'était un accident, monsieur l'agent.
There was an inscription. Praised the sun. Renato rampaged through the Imperial outpost like a water buffalo rampaging. At the last moment,
He remembered not to kill the far speaker toad. After all, he wanted a word with the Emperor. But there was only silence. The Emperor was scared, like little girl. Well, he would gather the rebel army and slaughter the Imperial fleet. Yes, applauded the Iblistone. Tremendous. Then the Emperor would have to answer his far speaker, wouldn't he? Who are you? Asked a distant voice that sounded uncomfortably like Zenobia. What have you become? The mountains. Go to the mountains, urged another that sounded a bit like Lapino. Renato called the rebel council to let them know to gather their forces. Then he killed the far speaker toad. Why? Oh, because to make sure his sword was sharp. Oh no, that's awful. So no one else could use it. Yes, that's it. Then he set off for the ruins and the secret rebel base. The ruins were crawling with ravens. Probably looking for the secret base, Renato thought. But then he realized they're probably looking for me. They must be very scared of me. Well, here I am. You are the honest warrior, whispered the Iblistone. And he had to agree with it, for once. Who was as good as Renato? Boom! Yes, please. In a swirl of newly remembered knowledge. Needed to focus. Imagine if you built a house on one of these things. Oh, that would be amazing. It would be like having a boat. Haven't you always wanted to do that?
On va prendre ça.
Ooh, what's there?
Bien fait.
Urged the stone. Let me make you emperor. Come to think of it, Renato thought as he pushed down another raven, why shouldn't I be emperor? How did anybody get to be emperor anyway? By making war. I mean, not counting the transcendent,
Dommage.
obviously, who had banished the lost gods and started time. Yes, he should be emperor. He would make a great emperor. Right, Stone? Right, boss. Sleep tight, thought Renato.
Tous les tuer. Voilà. Ok. Vous avez ouvert. Oh, chier. Trop greedy.
Long stairs. So he was close to the rebel base. He was on fire. So far, so good. No one beat Renato at hot potato. Gem of power. You didn't find those every day. Renato strode into the council. Let's do this thing. Let's make me emperor. They looked confused and nervous. Ah, had he mentioned the emperor thing? He meant to bring that up later. I mean, let's go win this rebellion. He waved his sword around encouragingly. They ran. Cowards. He'd stop them. He cut down a few to inspire the others. But soon, there was no one to cut down. Well then, he'd have to attack the fleet alone. More for me, he said. Unless it was the stone that said it. Traitors. Traitors, all of them. They'd run rather than following him, rather than cheering him. What should he do to the cowards? Anything he wanted to. After all, he was a true hero, the best warrior there ever was. No one could stop him now. But first, finish him. The Emperor, that is. Where was the rebel fleet? They weren't even trying an assault. They were going to miss a day in history. The downfall of this dynasty, and a new one to take its place. He didn't have to kill all the ravens. He could enslave them, and enslave the toads too. All the animals would worship him as a god, for he had once been a god. They would willingly give him their blood and their souls. And the world would change, would become familiar again.
Or I could go that way, he thought.
Bernardo was glowing with dark power. Already the sun had dimmed. He could do anything, he realized. He could wrap the island safely in smoke again. He was beyond a hero. He was going to become a god again. How odd, he thought, that the Iblis Stone had nothing to say about any of this. Well, no matter. Once he killed this petty toad emperor, he would bring back the Black Sun. It was a bit windy up here. That was always a rush. He found the Emperor and the Council huddling by his ship, plotting. They saw him and cowered before him.
Back to hell, fiend.
Croaked the Emperor desperately.
In the name of the Transcendent Emperor!
Croaked the Speaker. They held some arcane items he didn't recognize. He simply flexed his will and sucked their souls out of their bodies. And Iblis exulted. It is finished. And the void that had been a mere stone on a sword expanded. It stretched and ripped like a vast womb. And a gaze, black and pitiless as the sun, passed through the void into the land. And so time ended. And just like that, he was alive again, and back on the Farfarer, still fleeing burning Ubar. The book was still open before him. So, the book was a portal. It took you to the future, when your destinies would branch. He had failed and died 3 times, but he'd learned another true thing. The Iblis Stone was evil. It would try to corrupt anyone who used it.
Bon, ben je vais m'arrêter là pour aujourd'hui. Et je vous dis du coup une bonne journée et à bientôt.